Well, today Africa is well behind the rest of the world in economic sophistication or complexity, which means that Africa is relatively poorer compared to most other regions of the world. And there is a simple reason for this. And that reason is that there is grave human capital deficiency in Africa. This means that we are not properly investing in our people to become productive. Now, reckon that Africa has the second largest population of all continents, with about 1.5 billion people, second only to Asia, with, of course, over 4.5 billion people because of India and China. But even so, of these continents, we are the least productive. Now, if we take a look at the GDP per capita by continent, we find that Africa has a number of about $2,000 compared to the next continent up, which is over $7,000, and that's Latin America or South America. Above that is Asia with over $8,000. So the gap between Africa and these countries is just too big. And not to mention a comparison with North America with over $46,000. So something is happening here. It means that the productivity of Africans is well below the productivity of people in North America or South America or Asia. So the question is what to do? Because it just tells clearly that we are not as productive as these other people. And we have found that the culprit, the reason that's the case, is because of our grave human capital deficiency. So now being productive is actually building a culture of creating economic value. So we have to have this system that we all believe in, where we are determined, we're intentional about creating value. This means that we recognize that the essence of family formation is productiveness. So when families get together, the African has to recognize that it is not just to form families for the sake of forming families, but to be able to generate a higher level of living. But you cannot generate a higher level of living if you are not productive. So we don't want our families to be poor, right? Therefore, we train them to be productive in character and in their ability to deliver the goods and services that the people of the world want. There are two things that we need in Africa. Essentially, there are two targets that we want to achieve. One is we need to be more productive. This is essentially the best way to fight poverty. You fight poverty not by begging. Aid has never caused any country to come out of poverty. All these years, Africa has been trapped in the syndrome of looking for aid, begging literally for aid. And I don't know of any African country that has emerged from poverty because of the aid that they have received from DFID, USAID, JICA, or anybody. So it is not by begging, but actually it is by relying on how we can process the endowments, the natural resources that our Creator has endowed us with. Africa is endowed with large numbers, varieties of natural resources. But somehow we have not been able to process, refine these natural resources into the products that the people of the world want. The reason is because we don't know how to do it. We don't have the skills to do it. You know, there are people who have been talking now and saying that in our schools, we should teach people how to refine gold, how to mine iron ore, or how to process fuel, PMS, as we have it now, from crude oil. But we don't do it. Instead, we ask people from overseas, we ask Shell Oil Company, Total, and all these other companies to come do it for us. So we Africans have to begin to think of how we can process the resources that God has given to us. All we need is to train our people to know how to honestly and efficiently process these natural resources into products that the people of the world want.
At the Economic Growth and Development Center, our Extraordinary Human Capital and Global Partnerships program for investing in people is the key to increased productivity and prosperity. You want rising incomes and increased prosperity? Then join us in our phenomenal coaching, trainings, and seminars. They include coaching and consulting for state and local governments to increase productivity and fight poverty, training in cybersecurity, data analysis and visualization, policy analysis, global skills, and poverty solution strategies. We also have local and international study tours for organizations and professionals. To increase your influence and impact, call us .
The number 2 target is that we need to be more globally competitive. First in our minds, and then indeed. That is, that we have to have in our minds a commitment to being globally committed, to be globally competitive. And then we then go indeed to produce the products in such a way that they are competitive with products from any part of the world. You need one primary tool to achieve these targets. So we have a situation of one instrument, 2 targets. Essentially the whole thing of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And that one instrument is human capital. However, to make the human capital that you may have effective or productive, you may need global partnerships. Because you may not know how to train your people in artificial intelligence, in all the other complex things that you're not able to do now, but you can through partnerships. You do this so that you can get a little bit more completeness. So you're looking for complementary partners to make you more productive and competitive. For Africans, you have ready access to global partners already. Number 1 among them would be African Americans. I believe that the ultimate salvation for Africa, economic salvation, is in partnerships with African Americans. And this group, of course, includes new immigrant African Americans, those people you call Nigerian Americans, Ghanaian Americans, Ethiopian Americans. So you need partnerships with them because you have a long history of relationship with them. You have them with a great amount of well-developed human capital. And if we have these guys and we can engage them, they become like an anchor for a lot of things that we want to do. And they then also anchor our partnerships, say in this case in the United States, because they can connect us to the larger society. You can't beat that, folks. So it's all about human capital development, investing in the people so they can produce and engage the world in greater productiveness and competitiveness. With this, you are killing 2 birds, as we said, with 1 powerful stone.